The Earth is flat and stationary. The sun, moon, and stars are all very close. The community is basically a bunch of free-thinking people who realize we've been indoctrinated from a young age with the whole spinning ball. So basically, anybody who believes in the spinning ball is just somebody who has not tried to debunk flat Earth. And I mean, legitimately give it the good scientific method, which is it observable? Does it match our observations?
Well, does that have you rethinking everything you thought you knew about our planet and its shape, or are you scratching your head in disbelief? Believe it or not, the flat earther community is alive and thriving. This month it came to light that a Quebec
Okay, quick screen capture again of CBC, the voice for the man, Anna Maria Tremonti, like Walter Cronkite or Peter Mansbridge. These people are told what to say. They have nothing to do with the material that they present. But anyway, I thought I would put this out because I understand that the world is not what it appears to be. What we've been told is not true. And I'm not committing to any particular view, to any particular conclusion on the truth. The truth, people out there who have a monopoly on truth, like science guys with white coats. They have the truth. They tell us, you know, in the mid 1800s, they said, we know everything there is to know about the cosmos, the universe. We just have to cross a few T's, dot a few I's to get it right. Exactly. This is the people that we trust to tell us what the world really is, and it's called science. So I'm not denying the fact that there are understandings, discoveries, things we learn mostly to manipulate but not understand. And these people in white coats apparently have this proclivity to be able to manipulate and then stand on the barricades and pronounce their truth to us. Anyway, I'm making this screen capture and video. I'm gonna attach a link to this. You can listen to it yourself. But my sense is that there is a level of fear rising in what I see to be this consensual world, the world that has been established all around us, and it's perfectly fine. Everything that we experience can be explained, even though we may not like it, we can still explain everything away. I'm of the opinion that we are within an incredible mystery, and all the people that detract from this feeling that I have, even though you may think you have consensual science on your side, like this particular program that is being propagated as basically a ridicule of people that have an alternate explanation. And I want to highlight here that we perceive things, and if in my experience a person looking at one of my paintings will have a completely different interpretation of what it is that I was presenting. Now, of course, a painting is somewhat more ethereal and not as meat and potato, in your face world reality that is really, we know what's going on, right? You quantum physicist and Newtonian physicist, you know, one comes along and destroys the theories and ideas and reality of another that came before you. Of course, it's always changing. Perception, morality is a changing aspect within culture and is not fixed. I've gone through this in my last video. Anyway, I'm making this brief screen capture, and I'll show you the guy that's also interviewed. The first two being interviewed, it's just a continuous ridiculing with not really addressing anything. What a bunch of flakes out there to question consensual reality. The world is exactly what it appears to be, and here's the proof. And this is the little knob. Look at him. He's doing this presentation, the Aristophanes Greek pins or sticks in the ground and measuring all that. This has all been alternately explained by some people who attach themselves to the flat earth idea, and this guy has been debunked, but he chuckles. Look at him. Look at this little knob. He's chuckling throughout the entire his scientific experiment, and he makes assumptions all the way through it that even a 5th grader can debunk. This guy is just so full of himself and full of ridicule. So I thought I'd make this because the reason is this. I think that Obviously, science, as we understand it, relies on observation. But the point is that observation is a very tricky, tricky phenomenon from the point of view that, as I said, you have 4 eyeballs and you have 2 different versions of events. So the attempt to placate a humanity into submission, and I say placate for a good reason, because we are being ridiculed into submission, to think of the world to be a certain way. And this is something that really gets my back up. Like people, you know, Anna Maria Tremonti is just a voice for the man. She doesn't really reflect on anything. She gets a paycheck. She doesn't decide what to put on. So she'll go along chuckling with everybody else about everything that she is told to chuckle about. So now this is what is happening, I think. There is a level of anxiety rising among the consensual humans, very actually consensual in the sense of where this is being manufactured. I'm saying the consensual humans are like 99% of the population, but then there is a proportion within that population that manufactures the consent, manufactures something for us to attach ourselves to in order to do what? My contention is to keep the world on a path that is fundamentally, continuously dysfunctional and on the edge, like you're sitting on a chair, balancing yourself on 2 legs. So you're always feeling like, in this Steve Wright joke, that he feels like he's sitting on a chair on 2 legs, leaning backwards and, you know, just teetering on the just verge of falling over all the time. This is consensual reality. Science, consensual reality, is sitting on this chair, balancing oneself, and just not knowing whether you're going to come down on the right side or the wrong side. This is what it feels like to me anyway. So my point is, there's a level of anxiety and fear among those who manufacture our world. And now, believe it or not, this is phenomenal to me. Tremonti invokes the idea that YouTube is part of the disinformation. YouTube is part of the disinformation by leading people through their complex algorithms into the information that is being presented by the flat earthers, for example, or the conspiracy types, for example. Well, of course, you know, it's like the moon thing is a big chuckle. They chuckle about the moon. They didn't bring up Kennedy. They really should look back on Kennedy, because some very disturbing facts are coming out on the Kennedy assassination, how it is not what it was proposed to be in the Warren Commission. And of course, the next big challenge for humanity is the 9/11, the conspiracy types that keep invoking again that there is something wrong with the explanation for 9/11. Okay, here, this is monumental, like the idea of Fukushima, a nuclear power plant that blew up with 3 full core meltdowns, melt-through, melt-outs, continuing every day for almost 8 years now. And there is virtually no coverage in this particular medium that Anna Tremonti is attached to, the CBC in Canada or PBS or any of the news stations around the world don't cover this monumental epic disaster that has occurred. And what they do is they create consensus, they create ridicule, they want to peripheralize people with their broadcasts. And I'm speaking to the choir here. People that come to my channel know this. But I'm saying that there is a level of fear now that is emerging, and this could be somewhat dangerous, because the more cornered these people feel, like they're beginning to feel like rats, possibly. It's a stretch on my part to suggest this, that the control group that manufactures all this hooey that is presented to us, consensual in culture and civilization, this control group may actually begin to feel like people are breathing down their necks, like the Gilets jaunes, the yellow vest movement, which is fabulous. I feel like these the French protesters are the cream of the crop of protesters. Phenomenal. I think these people are just so courageous, and they're not going to take the shit anymore. We're not going to take it anymore. It's the guy screaming out the window in broadcast or network. whatever that show was. So the yellow vest guys are the precursor and a very serious indication for the control group that it may be getting out of hand. So they got to get a handle on this. It's been kind of fun up till now to pit people like the Globe Bunch and the Flat Earth Bunch against each other in the media, which is why YouTube is doing what they're doing. They're not interested in any kind of algorithm that would facilitate our actual understanding of something. They're just pushing this to pit people against each other. That's the point. Not that, oh, now YouTube is subverting the true science and knowledge we have as humanity and actually promoting these ridiculous people talking about the reality of the world. We know how it is exactly anyway. These people on YouTube, we try to contact them and all they say is, no, we just, want to make money. Yeah, profit. Which is true. They want to make profit. But the idea behind YouTube is beyond profit, is to pit people against each other and to keep feeding the hungry ghost inside, that dismantled human being that has nothing left really to stand on. Their moral compass is gone. Their conscience doesn't exist. So YouTube fills the vacuum with all these ridiculous things. Like 99, I said, I can't listen to most of YouTubers anymore because it's so pathetic. The lack of moral compass and what I consider to be the highest aspect of ourselves, our conscience is being undermined continuously. And these Tremonti types and CBCs and all these, yeah, I think it's an indication there is trouble brewing. I'm a little concerned. And I was someone that I find to be irritating to no end is this Matt Powerland, the guy who suggested let's do 6 independent expeditions across Antarctica to the South Pole. Start from 6 latitudes, independent groups, let's say 400 or 500, like a massive a journey across, and just get to the pole. Let's all end up at the pole. And just sort of drop this entire argument about what the hell is going on down in Antarctica. Something is going on that is not being permitted to be exposed, especially recently with the Metropolitan of the Greek church or something ending up down there with Buzz Aldrin. Yeah, that really sane Buzz Aldrin. Anyway, Matt Powerland has suggested this. I regard this as a viable idea to do the expedition across Antarctica. And anyone that says, oh, no, you don't need to do that, you're part of this group that's trying to undermine something we all know. Well, I'm not going to say it is one way or another, but I certainly like the idea of doing something that has never been done. It's never been done. So let's do it. Beside the fact that this Powerland, he's like an alpha male, dominant kind of personality. He is revolting on so many levels. This guy is just so pathetic from the point of view of the only way he can seem to generate the energy is to be like a fucking alpha male. People, get off this this overwhelming, overpowering, I am the only one on the planet, follow me. This feeling is so insidious. It's part of the problem. Drop that. And there are more reasonable ones like the Jaron. I like listening to the Jaron fellow. He's actually quite enjoyable. And some of the people he talks with that are flat earth. Yeah, they are flat earth. So anyway, here's this guy again. Yeah, look at him. Okay. He was interviewed and laughing at people that do not go along with a consensual reality. Trouble is brewing. Powerland thinks it's the beginning possibly of a major conflict. If the flat earth guys get their way, these guys are going to pull the plug and get rid of anybody that might be in the fray. That's a very serious thought. I thought I'd mention it anyway.